It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Erica. She'll be talking about really love your imperfections. Is that even possible? Anyway, what's going on, Erica? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Shay Brown. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks a lot for asking. I just want to move something over there. Thanks a lot for asking. I certainly appreciate that. We're going to get started. We'll talk about your background. We'll talk about all the wonderful things you're doing, why you got this purple jacket on, and all that cool stuff. But before we do that, I'm curious, what does it really mean? Because you see the title, Love Your Imperfections. What does it really mean to love your imperfections while you're building a business? I'll say it like that.
Great. That's actually a great question, Shay Brown. Building a business is really just you and yourself and initiating the things you need for yourself. And so when you are loving your imperfections, you're loving the good, you're loving the bad, you're loving the things that you are not sure of, the things that you probably have dealt with in your past and those traumas. So when you're loving your imperfections while you're building a brand and building a business, it's very helpful for yourself to just dive deep into yourself, do the shadow work that's needed, be more in tune with your intentions or your emotions, because when it comes to business, we have to interact with other people. And so we don't want to come off as being nasty, being rude, or disrespectful because we're having a bad day, because maybe somebody said something to us, or what have you. Those things are because that also helps with our emotional and mental state of mind. And I'm an advocate for mental health. So when you are dealing with mental health issues, and when you know for sure that, hey, I have to start with me, and of course it takes a village to raise anything, it takes a village to build a brand and a business. Then once you start with yourself and you give these other people and customers and whomever, mentors or mentorships, some advice that you like, what, when I had started my business, it's the things that I done, and so forth. So imperfections is really just getting to know yourself on a deeper level.
I love it. And we'll get into you in a minute, but I'm curious, why do business owners like myself, why do we struggle so much with trying to make sure everything is perfect before we move forward? I'm only going to speak to myself because I know many of you out there, you're not worried about being perfect, so you just do it. But I guess the question I have is, why do entrepreneurs like Shay Brown, so I'll just say me, why do we struggle so much with getting our business up and going because we want to be perfect? What would you say to that person
Social
that's listening right now?
I would say social media. We stroll through our phones all day, every day. And as soon as I can say that I'm guilty of it too, before I started my business, that I used to go through other entrepreneurs' social media pages and see what they're doing. It's like, I want to be just like that. But you don't know the things and the struggles that they went through to get to that point. And so, being that we see this perfect Instagram cut image or social media image, that we put ourselves in those people's shoes, we put ourselves in their lifestyles and their limelight, not knowing that the things that they had to go through just to get to there. So there is no such thing as a perfect image or a perfect brand or a perfect business. It's really what you make it.
I like that. That's said so well. And before we get into the next round, I'd like to slow down for a moment because some people, no matter how famous you are all over the world and all the wonderful things you do and how you give back to the community and do so much, they are meeting you for the very first time. And while some people may have Googled you or others have found you on social media, others don't know you. So can you slow down for a moment? Can you take a moment and tell us, who is Erica and what's your backstory that led you to doing what you're doing now?
Of course. Thank you so much. So I started off with, of course, with community service. And so that's really just my first thing that I love. That's my heart. And so how I fell in love with it, I my mother and I, my family and I would just say, before Christmas, Thanksgiving, we would go to nearby churches and we would donate. So we would be there helping, giving out food and whatever pantry items and so forth. Being raised in that type of environment and giving back to the community, I started to do the same things of myself as a early age or older age in college or even after college. When it comes to more of the career side, I have had the luxury of teaching preschool for 7 years. That is my pride and joy. Preschool is just, I love it. Their minds is just so big and they're so ready to learn. And then my newfound love that I've been doing for 3 years now is a registered behavior technician, and I work with children with behavior issues and autism. I go into the homes, do house visits, and implement good programs that not only that the family can use, but what the school can use to help children with autism. That could be if they're on the wide range of their spectrum or even the low range of spectrum. I meet them in the middle when it comes to the families and how they can bridge those gaps when it comes to their family members and not um, having certain fine gross motor skills that they would like for them to have. And then that's me in the middle, just making sure that everything just glues together like glue.
And what do you enjoy most about that? Because I could hear the passion coming out dealing with kids with autism. Now, did you mention why that's so important to you? Because I know you said autism is your thing now.
Yes, my mother, she taught on Norfolk Public Schools for 10 years.
Oh, I missed that.
And
Okay, I got you.
yes, and so being that my mom was a teacher, she took me to school with her sometimes, or took me to work with her sometimes. She also did speech, teach special ed, and so I used to ask so many questions when I was little. My mom had no issues with answering all those questions. I would ask like,
Wow.
"Well, why do they do this, and why do they learn this way?" And so she explained to me in her own way that everybody has their own way of learning things. Um, Everybody sees things, their perspective is really different, and so by having that hands-on training at a very young age, at 6 years old, I was able to see that, okay, this is something cool. And then I took it upon myself to do extra online courses and everything to get my certification in that. But just seeing their minds grow, and for especially for the client that I have now that I've been working for a year, he was nonverbal. I do not label him as such because now we're speaking. We're saying mama, we're saying dada, we're saying other words and echoing other words that he was not saying before I got onto the case. And that is my pride and joy, because when you step into that type of field and you're that type of, you are that glue that the family needs, it just gives them that sense of hope. And there are a lot of families that have children or have siblings that are autistic or that could be labeled as nonverbal. But if you have the type of love and care and the love and care, and when it comes to skill set, anything is possible. And so that's why I say that ABA therapy is my newfound love, because to give a family a second chance for their child to seem, in their eyes, normal, but at the same time, that every child is normal in their own unique way.
And having family members myself, I know the importance and the relevance of that. So thanks for all you're doing. And shout out to your mom who got you down this path. All the moms out there,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. um,
Yes.
as we're speaking now, I'm curious for the person out there that's watching right now and saying, Shay, I like what she's saying. If I struggle with imperfections, what's the first thing she should say I can do today? Like, I know she can't be here with me right now, but I'm watching. I saw it. It resonated with me. And if she could say, here's the first thing you should do if you're struggling with imperfections, what's the second thing you should do? What would you even say to that person that's watching right now, that's leaning in? Because we're speaking to you right now.
Certainly, and that's actually a good question. I guess the first question we should definitely ask Shay Brown, is it an imperfection? Is it a label that somebody has labeled upon you? Is it something that you're telling yourself that this is an imperfection of mine? And I've learned to fall in love with my flaws. I've learned to fall in love with my imperfections. I've learned to fall in love with the side and um, the the side of Erica that maybe I need some growing, and that's okay. That happens over time. And when you evolve as a person, evolve as a business owner or a mother or entrepreneur, you have to learn how to work out and fall in love with the every parts of you, every crevice. So if someone is wondering how do I fall in love with my imperfections, that's fall in love back with yourself. And over time we get burnt out over jobs, relationships, or what have you. And sometimes I can say for myself, the ways that I fall in love with myself and my perfections, I love music. Music is my therapy. And when I feel like that, okay, I need a moment of just settling down and coming back to myself, it's a playlist that I have, and I just play it, put my AirPods in. I love taking walks. I love being by the beach and buying water, by body of water. And of course, I love journaling. And for sure, I've been journaling since I was 10 years old. And so writing those emotions down, taking accountability, and then of course, just seeing for yourself your own words, your own emotions, and then making that found decision. Like I said, am I putting this label on myself? Am I putting myself in a category that maybe I was just having a bad day? And a lot of things happen to us and throughout our time of just interaction with people that maybe it's not an imperfection. Maybe it's just something that came upon you because you had a conversation with somebody or what have you. But sometimes it's more best to just identify these flaws and imperfections and then just embrace them as much as possible.
Yeah, and I admire that because you embrace and you show up even when you don't feel like it sometimes, I'm sure. Um, I'm curious, you talk about the affirmation that you use, you talk about writing in the journal. Um, where does inspiration come to write in the journal? I know when I first started, and I think I'm 800 some days now straight, and I used the journal on my app. I used to write all this eloquent stuff. And like, I'm so happy for my wife. I'm so happy for my sons. I love my home. But then as time went on, I started saying stuff like, I'm just happy I woke up this morning. I'm still here. 150,000 people didn't wake up this morning, and I did. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So I guess my question to you directly is, how are you able to show up on days you just don't feel your best?
I can honestly say that my reason for showing up when Erica does not feel like herself is because there's a greater need in somebody else's life. And so you never know when you can be an inspiration. So by just showing up, you may not have the right words to say. You may not be able to sometimes if you're doing a job or something new, or even speaking engagements that I have that I've been doing now through my pageantry journey, and just showing up and being there and just being in the presence, just being in the moment. And so I can just definitely say that those moments of I'm tired, and I know all of my pageant sisters can definitely say being in pageantry is it's definitely it's another job on top of your 9 to 5 job. And knowing that I'm showing up as a leader, knowing up that I'm just making my presence known, that's also the greatest gift that you can ever give to anybody.
Wow, that's so important, by the way. And you were saying that it's a great segue to a segment we have here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who wait every night to say those magical words, maybe you watch and you're familiar with it, you can go and say those words now. Today is my January 1st. And for all the new folks who showed up for the very first time, by the way, today is my January 1st is our personal mantra at the Happy Entrepreneur Show. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is or how bright and sunny the past has been, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question for Erica on the other side is, maybe your life's been perfect. Was there ever a time there was a challenge and a setback in your life? And how were you able to come back from it?
Yes, there was a few challenges I can definitely see in college or even after colleges. I am a firm believer that when you manifest and when you pray and you write things down, and of course, and you stay on a path that's for you, and sometimes that doesn't really work out, and that's fine, and that's life. But for me, for my January 1st, for the challenges that I have faced, I kept God first. I got, advice from my mom and close family members and just gave them what my situation is. And I know sometimes people may not have that small or good family circle that they can talk to, but I know there's other hotlines and other circles or counselors that be able to give you that listening ear. And so I was very grateful and honored to have those listening ears throughout those challenges and times where I'm like, this is what my issue is, and this is what I'm thinking about, and how would you do it? And then after I get those advice and I get those, well, I would do it this way, I go back to myself and I analyze what's best for Erica. And sometimes you have to take things with a grain of salt. And I did with every advice piece that I got from my family members and friends. And I applied it to my life on top of prayer and on top of meditation and on top of journaling.
So special. Thanks for being so authentic with us as well. Um, I'm curious. You have that purple jacket on, And then some folks are saying, Shay, what in the LL Cool J is she doing? What's that purple jacket all about, by the way? So I know it has something to do with Miss Corporate America. So take a moment, if you would, and talk about what is Miss Corporate America, number one. I know it's a loaded
Yes.
question. And number two, why did you decide to participate in it?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, Miss Corporate America is what we're just talking about now, showing up, even when you don't feel like it, being a leader. In those rooms that you like, I don't know if I fit this room. I don't know if I belong here. And so, Miss Corporate America gives you a room, a space where you do belong. You've always belonged. Sometimes, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we feel like we don't have a room at the table. And I like to say, well, if you don't have a seat at the table, bring your own seat and make room for yourself. And that's what Miss Corporate America is all about. And so I have on my state president jacket because I am Madam State President of Southern Virginia with Miss Corporate America. And so by standing firm in my authenticness and standing firm in my leadership skills, I have aligned myself with Miss Corporate America because my journey and the things that I have went through aligns with Miss Corporate America mission statement. Being authentic, being true to yourself. Of course, being proud for who you are and where you come from. But if you have a business and you have a brand, show it, promote it. It's all you, and you have to make it you. And that's Miss Corporate America in a nutshell.
And I know one of the cornerstones is sisterhood. Talk
Yes.
about why sisterhood is important to you from a perspective of being able to give and serve. But first, what's your definition of sisterhood? And then how does that relate to your mission, goals, and objectives? I know it's a softball question, but we're all curious.
It's okay. Sisterhood to me is I'm the youngest out of five. So I have two older sisters and then two older brothers. And so I was that little sister that always wanted to be with my older sisters. And so it's just really that kid like moment when you're with your sisters, you guys share the same interests and may have the same goals, may not have the same goals, but sometimes it can be a give or take. It can be a family. So the family that you are born into outside of your bloodline, you're able to make your own family along the way. And so I love pageantry because I have so many sisters now. So when it comes to if I travel somewhere or some maybe a pageant sister of mine travel in the area, like, hey Erica, I'm in town, let's get up, let's connect. But also it's just that safe haven of sometimes you're not able to connect with your actual family members, your actual family members that you were born into. And so my pageant sisters is that second um, blanket, I would say. So I love plush blankets. So when it comes to being soft and understanding like, hey, you can sit here. You can cry as long as you want to. You can yell as long as you want to. We're not leaving this room and this space until you feel free. And so I can definitely say sisterhood and pageantry has taught me that and more.
How cool is that? That's super, super amazing. Um, what does success look like for where you are right now? What does success feel like for you?
Good question. What does success looks like for me right now? Success looks like look what it looks like for me for now. I would definitely say my presence. I just really get off the phone call with a good friend of mine that I met at a speaking engagement that I had. And so she's much older than me. And so the fact that I am getting confirmation and affirmations of older people or even young people letting me know, like, I look up to you. Thank you for being present in the community. Thank you for being courageous. Thank you for being diligent. Thank you for just being you. And so, just going back to those same questions, Mr. Shea Brown, that you asked me about showing up, and then of course those times where we're tired. And so, being having success for me is not materialistic things. It's really just me, just having a community base, um, close friends, family members, whomever, that also just appreciate you and honor you. And when it comes to honoring a person that's so near and dear in your community that you can be like, you need help with this or you know with help with that, I'll call Erica. And so that to me is success. That whenever someone needs anything, if that could be prayer, advice, I can put my superwoman cape on and I can come to the scene.
You don't have to always do it. I love it. This is so great. It's so exciting. I love what you're doing, and I love the whole part. But you don't have to be perfect, you know, but you do have to be purposeful, and
Yes.
that's very important. I know that's not a Shea Brown original, but it's so true. And I'm not perfect, but I'm what? I'm on purpose. And that's so important. Take a moment. When you hear the word purpose, what does it mean to you? What do you hear?
Purpose. I hear alignment. That's the main thing that I hear that's echoing when I hear and say the word purpose. Because as I mentioned before, that sometimes we don't know what our life purpose is. And so I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, and we're here in this moment, and me speaking on the lines of Miss Corporate America, and then of course my own brand is Rest and Rain, and so I branded and I was given rest and rain through just through prayer, because sometimes we don't know what our purpose is. And I love it when I'm conversating with other people and I ask them what their interests are and their likes and dislikes and what makes you just get excited, and what makes your face just bright. And they tell me those things, and I'm like, maybe that's your life purpose. And so when you align yourself with your life purpose, and then of course when you are just going through your journey of life, you meet people along the way that may need some help with who their life purpose what their life purpose is. And so alignment is definitely the main thing that comes to mind. And I would just say fellowship. We can't get where we need to get to unless we fellowship with other people.
Thank you so much for being authentic. I'm curious. One last question. I am curious. What does greatness look like for you? When you hear the word greatness, like I want to be great, I want to be amazing, I want to be remembered. What comes to mind to you?
That is a good question. I would
Yeah.
definitely say that greatness to me would be 5 years down the line. If God says so, I'll be done teaching. And if I just so happen to run into one of my students, I'm like, that's Miss Erica. And she taught me, and she let me be myself in the classroom. She came up with the most creative activities and things for us to do because I love being creative. And so that to me is a gift of greatness that I remembered by somebody older that I used to teach, that I allowed them to be themselves, that I allowed them to just be in their own way. And sometimes I can say with this generation that we are, the younger generation that's coming up, maybe they don't have that safe space where they can be themselves, they can be creative, and maybe they do. But sometimes for certain situations, for some children and some adolescents, they don't have that luxury of being themselves. They have a wall up, or maybe they just don't have the right support system. And so for greatness to me is showing up and allowing them, let them know that you have that support system. You have the knack to be creative, but sometimes you just have to just rub a little oil on certain things and be like, you know what, we just gonna get it together, we're gonna work it out, and once it settles, we'll just keep going. So that's greatness to me.
Good answer. I love it, by the way. You've had a lot of mentors along this journey of life. One of my favorite questions to ask, by the way. And it's kind of unfair because you read more books you can probably remember. You've had to go to school. You've had to learn so much. But if you had to step back and say, here's one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given that you would take, that someone gave to you that you want to pass on. Think about all that you learned. What would it be?
A piece of advice that I would give that I learned. Is that the correct question to be
Yeah,
exact?
yeah. That maybe it was
Okay.
passed on to you. Maybe someone told you something and it's always been top of mind to you. And you're going to pass it on to us. Does anything come top of mind to you at all?
Never be afraid of your own power. Never.
Ooh, talk about that if you would. Say that one more time. That's really good.
Never be afraid of your own power. I can definitely testify to that. That at one point in time, that I was afraid of my own power, my own abilities. And so once you tap into that for yourself, respectfully and humbly, that you just have this aura about you that's just like, wow, this person is breathtaking, and this person is just, she just does all these things. And so I can definitely say for myself, with my dad serving the military for 30 years, I did have the honor of meeting other prestige people. And definitely with them being in power, I would ask them a lot of questions the times that I did have. And that was one of the responses: never be afraid of your own power.
But you always got a lot of questions, don't you? You be questioning everybody. Question, question, question. You got a question for me? I mean, I'm just joking.
I might.
I love it, by the way. As we come What do you do for fun? When you're not out doing Miss Corporate America, when you're not out teaching and saving the world, when you're not out asking questions of other people, what does fun look like for you?
Yes, I love golfing. I've been golfing since I was 12. So one of the things, if it's really nice here in Hampton, Virginia, I would definitely get my golf clubs, and my dad and I would definitely, go out and go golfing. So I would say definitely for that. Traveling, I love seeing the world. I love experiencing new things and definitely learning new about cultures and everything. So outside of traveling and golfing, I'm really more of a beach person. So if I had it
Okay,
my way,
golfing.
I would
Your
definitely.
dad must love it that you love the golf. He must love taking you out there.
He was definitely trying to make me the female version of Tiger Woods when I was growing up, but I was like, Dad, this is not my thing. I don't want to do this. But yes, I end up growing to love it.
That's kind of cool, unusual. As we come down the home stretch, it's probably the first person I've talked to, at least female, that says, "Hey, I went golfing with my dad through the years." I mean, that's a very unique story.
Thank
As we
you.
come down the home stretch, just a two-part question. Number one, how can folks what type of clients are you looking for? I don't know if you're taking on any clients. And number two, how can people connect with you? Like, man, I love this conversation. Love to bring her in. Maybe have her talk to my group. Or how do I connect with her? How do I follow her? Is there a website? What should they do? Talk to those folks right now, please.
Yes, certainly. Thank you so much for this moment. So you can just simply follow me on Facebook. So that is just my name with Erica Conwell. So that's Erica, and last name is Conwell. So that's Conwell. And speaking of clientele, yes, Miss Corporate America with Southern Virginia, we are looking for new 2027 contestants for the upcoming competition year. So if you are interested in taking your brand and your business to the next level, Miss Erica Conwell will definitely be your state president and will take you all the way to nationals.
Let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I appreciate it. Shout out to all the good things you're doing. Can't wait to connect with you
Thank you.
again soon.
Of course. Thank you so much.
And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, we don't have a show. So you have choices and you choose to be with us. I'll never get tired of reminding you every night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life, whether you're doing really, really well, you're just going to that next level of success, or you've been hit with the punch that you never saw coming. The one thing I do believe is that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown. I'm out. Thanks a lot, Erica. Peace, everybody. See you on the other side.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.